Well, thanks for this opportunity. My name is AQ, which is short for Abdul Qadir. That's quite a full name, but it does have a meaning, and the meaning is that to be of servant or servant of Allah. It is short for AQ for another reason, because I'm also a certified life coach. Having said all of that, I am the founder of Centre of Excellence, originally from Somalia and raised in the UK, so I am proud British, but equally proud of being from Somalia.
I grew up in the borough of Brent, actually, and then I moved to Barnet in 2017. My parental home is still in Brent, so I'm very much still a Brent girl, but I'm very much in love with Barnet. My family's from the Caribbean, so my mum is from Trinidad and my dad is from St Kitts, but as we all know, all roads lead to Africa anyway.
Yeah, I'm ANUFORO, and basically I am a professional vocalist who shares my skills with the community, helping them with their well-being, helping them with their breathing as well, and helping them to improve how they breathe, you know, because a lot of people aren't breathing correctly. So that was one of the things and one of the main aims of why I founded ANGIE'S Keep Calm and Sing group, which is about promoting better breathing. Yeah, I actually live in the area of Barnet, but I was born in North London and of Nigerian parentage. And my parents came to this country in the 60s, you know. So I thought I'd mention that because, you know, it's Black History Month.
Well, I was trained as a nurse, and I worked as a midwife when somebody who happened to be a Jehovah's Witness person was not allowing the hospital specialist to do the normal procedure they would have done if she wasn't a Jehovah's Witness. And usually, they always assign difficult clients to me. So this was not any different. And then because they know that I had a way of dealing with individual persons and we get results.
Growing up in the UK myself, I have been an interpreter for my parents, for my relatives. As a child, it was fun because I can go to school and tell my parents anything that I wanted to tell them, but it was painful when you had to go to the hospital and do the same and explain to them certain information or certain conditions and pronounce medication that to this day I cannot pronounce. So that was fun and also a little bit hard to do at the time. But then seeing that now at the age of 46, the same thing happening, it got me questioning. Not much has changed within the community that I belong to, and it was time to think about what we can do.
I really enjoy fitness, working out, health, exercise. I trained as a fitness instructor back in 2016, and it was just a really great way for me to release a lot of the anxiety and stress and, you know, the growing kind of, I guess, mental health challenges that we face these days. I just finished studying for my master's in journalism and I couldn't find a job, so I started going to the gym just to kind of forget about that anxiety, and I loved it ever since and never stopped going, and then trained as a fitness instructor, and that, I guess, is what's led me up to this point.
We started with knocking doors, preaching the gospel, but as we were knocking doors, preaching the gospel, I was hearing pain. I was hearing people's issues, loneliness, isolation, children being abused by the same parents who brought them to this world. Well, I did not see the physical abuse, but you know when an abuse is happening. A mother screaming at a baby. That is not the main issue. The main issue is what led to a mother screaming at a baby.
If home is a place where you don't feel comfortable or safe, you will end up being at school, and then school having an issue or having a behavioral issue, you'll end up having a safe space somewhere else. So the idea is to create a conversation between the two so that we create change of coexistence. So we're not changing anything, we're creating a space for people to have a conversation about mental health and the impact of mental health and what it is or isn't impact, what is or isn't mental health, but more importantly, talk about culture and identity. because sense of belonging is something that is very important to everybody, and that's something that we bring to light.
So my group is all about helping with improving your health and well-being, your mental health resilience, which is another thing that came out of lockdown, really. When we went through that lockdown, I had to quickly adapt, I had to get online, but I realised that it was something that was really needed, you know, because luckily, even before COVID, I was actually really pushing about the better breathing.
I really believe that Be Lifted has helped women and young girls realise that their potential. You look around in areas like Graham Park, Burnt Oak, Edgware, Colindale, and a lot of people are really struggling right now. It's really tough with the cost of living crisis, but even before that with the pandemic, not knowing where we were going or what was happening or how we would come out of it. And as a result of the pandemic, what we found is that women and young girls suffered the most, with women losing their jobs the most and getting into debt. Domestic violence rates went up. So women really have been through it. And not to say men haven't, men have been through it too. But yeah, what we really hope is to kind of restore hope in people's lives. I really believe education and giving people the tools to know things is important.
With the sewing, I went to Central St. Martin's by myself to train myself so I can train the community. The idea was, when I train the community, I train some people, they will be doing their micro businesses in their own homes, at least increasing disposable income, even if they don't completely cut off the income support they get from the welfare department. But at least their lives will be better. But some people actually progressed into further training. Some people went into care work, some people went into childcare, and I'm proud to say that one particular person has become a manager in Busy Bees now. And that is all because of the training, the support. You know, there is a way community-led services support people that the secular organizations cannot.
Changes that I've seen within our community in particular, and the world, but really in our community, is that people are able to share their pain and their problems and not holding back as much as they would prior to COVID, because now they've reached their limit, right? And that is a good thing, because only when you share can you get the right information and the right support. And particularly in the community that I come from, when they share a pain, it's a reflection on them feeling like a failure, or the home is not, I'm not really good in handling my situation. But the problem is so big that they're no longer afraid to share the pain.
So some of the people that I've worked with in the community have issues, some mental health issues they want to tackle, stress-related issues, early onset of dementia, that kind of thing, and just people who are looking to uplift themselves, you know, as well. So it's a mix as well, because it's Black, Asian, I worked with English, all mixing together. That's a really good thing about bringing people together. So there's that benefit too. And I do events as well, you know, and we had a really good Platinum Jubilee event with everybody coming together with that as well.
I think we take for granted sometimes how little people in the community know about what is going on. Some people in my mother and daughter group, they were unaware of, you know, the great work that other organisations are doing. So by bringing them in and actually informing them, it then gives them the motivation and momentum to go back and say, okay, I want to find out more about this. I want to know more about this. So yeah, I'm hugely proud of what we've achieved. I'm really proud of the people, the contractors that we have working for us. Fanta, our debt regulator, does an amazing job. Our trustees are brilliant. All of them, everyone who works for us, our fitness instructor, Shan, you know, everyone. There is no small, everyone, it plays a part and plays a huge part.
You know, there is a way community-led services support people that the secular organizations cannot, because we are always there and we are always listening. And they trust us because we've lived together in the same community for over 30 years.
Representation matters. Lived experience and shared experiences matters, because I didn't know up until we started this organization that there was no other organization within Barnet that was talking about mental health and well-being as an overall. So to be the catalyst or the person that initiates such a conversation within the community for the community, it brings me joy. It brings me joy. I'm looking forward for others to do the same.
It's really humbling to be seen as a community leader, because I mean, I live in Barnet, I live in Colindale, and I love the area. It's vibrant, it's diverse, and I love being right next door to places like Graham Park and Burnt Oak. We know there is a need in these areas as well as Edgware, but it doesn't take away from the vibrancy of the community. And like, you know, I walk into Centre of Excellence, I see people I know. I walk past Graham Park, I see people I know, people that I, you know, see within my workshops, and that is really a wonderful thing, because that's what a community is about. We should know our neighbours, we should know who we're living next to, and you know what's happening in their lives and how we can help. So yeah, it's really humbling, I have to say.
I think I've got feedback that it's a very positive impact, that it is making a transformational impact on people's lives. And I'm humbled by that as well at the same time, because it's nice to be able to maybe be a spark to a positive change.
I want to be able to amplify their voice so that their needs and their challenges and their excitement, that people get to hear that we are here, and more importantly, that we were somebody before we became a migrant, right? But I also want their community to understand what services are available to them, because by excluding themselves, they've actually disconnected their right to have the right conversation or access to service, or understand the rule of engagement from service providers. And the service providers to know that we were somebody before we became a refugee. I think that's the main thing.
Oh, there's so much more. I think definitely with the welfare side of things and the debt surgery, it would be great to expand that out and to have that in more areas. At the moment, we can't, just because of funding. But I mean, only yesterday, our debt regulator said, look, I managed to get £6,000 back for a customer from British Gas for their electricity bills. £6,000 is a huge amount of money for anyone. So we really are helping people in the community, and it would be great to expand that out, especially at this time when most people need help with their bills and are really struggling.
Could I say I'm really proud? I wish I could do more. And if there is any pride in it at all, it must go to God. Because the Bible says whoever is proud must be proud because they know him. And that, my pride is because I know God. And the other day I was saying, it can only be the love of God for the people in this place that will make me to do what I'm doing.